We have a Cummins X15 here with exhaust aftertreatment codes for the D.O.C being clogged. We're going to pull this D.O.C and check it out. We'll just get this temp sensor out of the way, and we got lucky with that one. They're usually seized. And we'll pull these clamps and get this D.O.C off there. When you're pulling these clamps off, you got to make sure you got a jack or something to support underneath it, because all this crap's pretty heavy and it's also pretty expensive, so you don't want to break anything. When you get this clamp off, you got to support this D.O.C. Don't let it drop, because all this crap's just like, as I said, all this stuff's really expensive, and it's pretty heavy too, so you got to be careful not to scrape the catalyst on the D.O.C or the DPF. And you can see that's the DPF inlet, and it looks like we got her down without damaging anything. If the DPF was face plugged, then there'd be a whole bunch of black soot on the front of it here, and it would obviously be clogging it. You can see that it hasn't been doing a proper regen because there's some soot on the outside of the DPF around the edges, and you can see that right there. Now, if this thing was doing proper regens, it would burn all that out. Now we got the D.O.C down here, and we're going to check it, see if we can see the flashlight through it. You should be able to see the flashlight because these, so my flashlight's not shining through this D.O.C, so it must be clogged. These is catalysts that are just straight through holes, so the light should be shining through. So I got it outside now with this vacuum hooked up to it. I'm going to try to spray the soot out into the vacuum. I'll be spraying here for 20 minutes or so. I'm going to pressure wash it out too a little bit, then spray it out some more, make sure it's all dry, and check it again. Alright, let's see if we were able to clean out this D.O.C. See if I can find my light shining through it. And where's my flashlight? Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Alright, so we cleaned the D.O.C pretty good there. That's what it should look like. The light just shines through really easily. So now we got to throw her back together and see if it does a good regen and this code goes away. Before just throwing this thing back together, you got to make sure that the sealing surfaces are perfectly clean, because if you got any exhaust leaks, then you're just going to have another code. Be careful not to damage the DPF or the D.O.C. I'm just going to reuse this D.O.C inlet clamp when I'm going to replace the gasket, but for the D.O.C outlet to DPF, I'm going to replace the clamp and obviously the gasket as well. These big clamps on the D.O.C, if they leak, you're going to have after treatment codes, and they're a lot harder to replace if they do leak, but the D.O.C inlet's pretty easy. If it leaks, just throw another one on and it'll be fine. This is the tricky part here, because you don't want to damage anything, and everything's way overpriced, so tuck this overpriced gasket in there and try not to wreck it, because then it'll just leak and you'll have to replace it. It's obviously way overpriced and it takes a while to replace, so make sure that damn gasket's not pinched and everything lines up real nice. And then get this this big clamp here on the D.O.C outlet. I start with that one because that's the most important one. Get that all tight and it'll hold it in its spot. You definitely want to take a lot of care with this one too, because that's a big gasket. If it doesn't line up perfectly, then it's going to leak and then it's just going to coat again. So you got to make sure it's all perfect before you tighten it up. And don't forget to beat the hell out of it with a hammer as you're tightening it up too, because that always helps. Now we're going to get the D.O.C inlet clamp on there and tighten that up and give her some smacks of the hammer as well. Here we go. Just give it a little tappy. Just a little tap, tap, taparoo. I'll actually just smoke it all the way around and then tighten it up a little bit more is more realistically what I do. And get everything that you took apart back in there, and then it's time to burn a regen. See if this thing works. With this sensor, you should probably put some never sees on there because I like to seize in there. But anyway, let's get this thing outside and see if she works. Listen to her purr. Watch out, everybody. I'm a mechanic, not a truck driver, and I've got work to do. Let's go. Looking good so far. No checked engine lights yet. Let's see if she goes in a regen. This is the moment of truth. And it's going into a regen. Yeah. Subscribe for more truck stuff.